She poured the coffee straight onto her sister's dress, scalding hot, nearly boiling. "This is for my son," Martha said, her voice carrying no tremble, no regret, only ice. The same ice that had been building for 10 years. The guests froze. Someone dropped a fork. Her young niece began to cry. And Linda, the perfect golden child of the family, slowly lifted her eyes, and in them flickered the first sparks of fear. She understood. The game had begun. And this time, Martha wouldn't back down. Martha Williams was never dramatic. At 62, with silver hair neatly pinned in a bun and hands accustomed to soap and laundry rather than theatrical gestures, she sat in the back pew at her husband's funeral, avoiding everyone's gaze, even her children's. After the service, she left first, no goodbyes, no embraces. But everything changed the day her 8-year-old grandson, Elliot, returned from Aunt Linda's house with a bruise under his eye and a whisper. "Grandma," she said, "Dad's gone because he was bad." Martha didn't ask for details. She didn't call Linda or make a scene. She simply took down the family photo from the shelf, the one where the three of them, herself, her late husband Thomas, and her younger sister Linda, laughed together at a picnic, smiling as if the world had been equally kind to all three. She knew it hadn't been. Their rift began long before Thomas died. When their sons, Chris, Martha's, and Justin, Linda's, were teenagers, they once got into a schoolyard fight over something trivial, a dispute about driving class. But Justin was cruel. He didn't just shove Chris, he beat him so badly he needed stitches above his eyebrow. Linda claimed Chris had provoked it, that he always stuck his nose where it didn't belong. When Martha tried to talk to her, Linda coolly replied, "You spoil your boy too much. He needs to learn to stand up for himself." Martha stayed silent. She was used to yielding. Growing up, Linda had always been the family star, beautiful, confident, adored by their parents. Martha was the quiet one, in her own world, a little odd. But years passed. Chris grew up, became a math teacher, got married, had Elliot, lived modestly but honorably. Justin, meanwhile, kept looking for shortcuts. He cycled through 5 jobs, lived off his wife, and when she left, off his mother. When Thomas fell gravely ill, Chris visited him every day, bringing soup, reading aloud, holding his hand. Justin showed up once a month, always with a request: a loan, help with rent, a temporary stay in the guest room. Through it all, Linda acted as if her son were a victim of circumstance. "He's so talented," she'd say at family dinners. "Just unlucky with his surroundings." Martha said nothing. But when Thomas died, Linda found a way to humiliate her one final time. At the memorial, as guests began to leave, Linda approached Martha and whispered, "You know, Thomas once confessed to me. He always regretted marrying you instead of me." Martha didn't respond. She just looked her sister in the eyes and walked away. But those words burrowed into her like a splinter. She reread Thomas's old letters, watched videos from anniversaries, weddings, birthdays. And every time, she saw it, the way he looked at her, the way only the closest person in the world is looked at. Linda had lied. Why? To hurt her more? To remind her once again who the true favorite was? Martha didn't know. But she decided she would stay silent no longer. Her first move was a letter. She wrote it that very night, not angry, not accusatory. Just facts. "You tell my grandson his father was a bad man. Stop. Or I'll tell everyone what happened to the money for Thomas's treatment." Because Martha knew. A month before Thomas died, when medical bills became overwhelming, she found a stack of cash, $32,000, hidden under the mattress. Their life savings. Their rainy day fund. A week later, Linda bought a new car. Martha didn't cause a scene. She simply photographed the clinic receipt, showing a payment $30,000 short of what it should have been, and saved a copy of the bank transfer Linda used to pay for the car. Now that letter sat in her drawer like an ace. But Linda didn't reply. Instead, she invited the whole family to a reunion at her country house. "We need to reconcile," she said over the phone. "Time heals. We're family." Martha agreed. Because she knew, if Linda was afraid, she had something to lose. The gathering was perfect. White tablecloths, fresh flowers, chilled champagne. Linda smiled, hugged relatives, praised her nephew Elliot. What a bright boy. Takes after Uncle Justin. Martha stayed quiet. Drank water. Watched. When dinner began, Linda stood and raised her glass. To family. To staying together, no matter what. Then Martha stood too. To the truth, she said. Especially when it hurts. Silence. Linda smiled, but fear flickered in her eyes. Then dessert arrived. Martha walked to the coffee maker. She didn't just pour coffee. She let it steep, scalding, almost boiling, and approached Linda with a slice of pie in one hand and a cup in the other. You forgot who I am? She asked and poured the coffee straight onto her sister's silk dress. What followed was a full-blown war. Linda tried to paint Martha as unstable. Told relatives. She's having a breakdown. She's not herself after Thomas's death. But Martha was ready. She gathered everything. Recordings of Linda insulting Chris. Neighbor testimonies of Justin yelling at his mother for money. Bank statements. And most importantly, Thomas's letter, written a week before he died. In it, he thanked Martha for every moment they'd shared. Called her his savior, the brightest person on earth. Martha didn't read it aloud. She simply printed copies and placed them on Linda's dining table during another family dinner. Relatives fell silent. Even Aunt Margaret, who'd always sided with Linda, looked away for the first time. We didn't know, she whispered. Linda tried to retreat. Stopped inviting them to holidays. Stopped calling. But Martha didn't let up. She started picking Elliot up from school herself, so Justin couldn't, accidentally, corner the boy after class and resume his taunts. She met with a lawyer, not to sue, but to apply pressure. If you ever say another word against my grandson's father, she told Linda over the phone, I'll sue you for defamation and emotional damages. And added, and don't forget, I know about the money. This time, Linda cried. Do you want to destroy me? She rasped. No, Martha replied. I just want you to stop talking. Months passed. Elliot grew calmer. Smiled more. Chris returned to teaching after a long leave and even started dating again. And Linda? She sold her house. Moved to another state. Rumor has it she works in a small cafe now. Justin, they say, lives with her. Martha didn't gloat. Didn't celebrate. She simply sat on the porch, sipping tea, watching Elliot play in the yard. One day, he asked, Grandma, are you mean? No, she said. I just learned to protect the people I love. Revenge isn't a scream. It's not a punch. It's not a public scandal. Revenge is silence. The silence in which another person finally hears their own heartbeat and realizes they can no longer lie. Martha Williams achieved that. Not with weapons. Not with shouting. But with coffee, a letter, and the truth. And that was enough.